Hello everyone and welcome back. It's the AnCap Otaku and today we have a 2-for-1. I'm going to be reviewing the 100th episode of Death Battle as well as reviewing an episode of Fan War. Now the YouTuber who runs this show called Fan War came to me and showed interest in me doing a review of one of his episodes and specifically recommended this one episode to me. And I told him I would take him up on that, so that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to talk about both of these, and as I promised one of the fans in my comment section, when Death Battle uploads their 100th episode, I'll be doing a top 10 list of the best death battles ever made. But spoiler alert, don't expect Mario vs. Sonic to be on it. Because this death battle was shit, but I'll get into that in a minute. But before we begin, I want everyone to leave down below in the comment section what you think the best death battle is. And I will take some of these into consideration while working on my list, as I want my channel to feel interactive. So please leave your thoughts below on what you believe the best death battle is and why, and hopefully you'll get to see it in the video, and depending on how good your reason is, I'll put that in my script and you'll get to hear some of your own words in the video depending on your reasons. So please do that if you want to. If not, that's also fine. You can just leave your thoughts below. So now let's get started on these reviews. Mario vs. Sonic. The 100th episode rematch. Fuck this shit. This death battle was terrible. The past month I've been apathetic to this death battle, and it was pretty much exactly what I expected. A garbage, one-sided affair with no excitement whatsoever, and that is exactly what I got. And no, don't think for 1 second that just because the outcome was different this time, that makes this a good death battle. It doesn't. As I've mentioned many times before in my top 10 list of the worst death battles, now I know some people complained that, oh, some of your points are repetitious, why did you repeat yourself? Well, maybe I had to repeat certain points to kind of get it hammered into your head, because Death Battle keeps doing the same stupid thing over and over again, and Death Battle fans keep repeating the same stupid thing over and over again. This is another one-sided death battle. That is exactly what this is. This matchup is terrible. What did I say from the very beginning about one-sided death battles and poor matchups? What have I said about this? Death Battle has clearly learned nothing. We get more one-sided death battles and poor matchups than actual good ones. And this is another one. The first time they did this, it was a one-sided affair and a shit matchup. The second time they did it, it was a one-sided affair and a shit matchup. And in case for some reason you haven't seen this episode, Sonic won. Fuck your spoilers. I'm not gonna give spoiler warnings in this review because fuck this episode. It was awful. Okay, it was the so-called big rule change is, oh, we're only gonna use information from the video games. Whoop-de-fuckity-doo. What the hell was the big deal about advertising? Oh, the rules are different. They're the exact same. You changed nothing. All you did was you just didn't use their composite forms. Yay, no, this was fucking retarded. This really was. And All this did was just further show how bad this matchup is and how pointless the previous death battle was, because the outcome of this death battle completely invalidates the outcome of the last death battle. Now, while the analysis was good, I'll give it this, the analysis was really good. I learned a lot, and one good thing I can say about this death battle, I learned that Sonic was, not Sonic, please, that little pissant. I learned that Mario was so much more stronger than I ever gave him credit for. All this time, I always lowballed Mario and thought he was a low-level pissant, but I learned he's so much more stronger than I thought. And I did like learning some of the new things. As I know a lot of people just skip through the analyses, I actually don't mind sitting down and listening to the analyses, as I like learning about new characters. So that was good. I'll give it that. Everything else was shit, okay? And sure, the animation was good, I guess, but here's my problem with the animation. Why was the whole thing basically a cartoon? Why did they opt for that look? There was no real reason for it. And also, the death battle was so underwhelming. Like, for example, why did Sonic only use 2 power-ups? Why did Mario only use like 2 or 3 power-ups? This is supposed to be your 100th episode. Why was this fight so underwhelming? Why? This was an underwhelming fight. You would think they would have gone all out. I mean, okay, Goku versus Superman 2. That death battle was shit, don't get me wrong, but at least they went all out with the fight. At least they took the time to say, you know what, fuck it, just go balls to the wall. If they're going to bitch about the outcome anyway, at least give them a good fight to drool over before they get their pitchforks and torches. We don't get that here. So if I'm over here praising Goku versus Superman over this, there's a fucking problem there, Death Battle. There is a huge fucking problem. I shouldn't be praising what is regarded as your second worst death battle ever made. I shouldn't be praising that over your big 100th episode. Nothing about this felt big at all. None of this felt like, oh, 100 episodes. You could have put a clip show here, and it would have been all the same if you just put a fucking clip show. In fact, I would rather you have just put a fucking clip show rather than insult my intelligence with this garbage death battle. And the result was, oh, well, the first time it was one-sided because of Sonic's speed. This time it's one-sided because of Mario's strength and durability. Well, what the fuck was the point? How many times do I have to tell you, Death Battle? Stop doing one-sided death battles. Think about these matchups before you do this. I've said this many times before. You can't have a good death battle if everything is one-sided, because then there's no tension. There is none. If you have a death battle between 2 characters and you know the other character is absolutely going to win no matter what, there's no tension and the fight becomes boring. Okay? You need to understand this, death battle. Stop with these goddamn shitty matchups. And here's what you need to understand. Of course Mario won. You know why? Sonic's entire existence was built around the fact that Sega Genesis had a better processor than the Super Nintendo. It was the only thing mechanic-wise that was superior to the Super Nintendo, and Sega knew this. So what did they do? They created Sonic and always showed off Sonic and created the whole blast processing ad campaign and all that shit. But guess what? That's all Sonic has ever been good for. That's all he is. He is literally an advertisement for a processor from a video game system that was discontinued. Okay? Sonic was a relic of the 90s, and he should have died with the 90s. Of course, Mario is going to be superior because Mario has actually evolved over the years and has actually, actually had a good 3D game. Okay? Mario has had good 3D games. He can do 3D. He can do RPG. He can do sports games. Sonic can't. Okay? He can't. This death battle was just so fucking awful, and the fight was so underwhelming. Why did they barely use any of their power-ups? Why? Going back to the problem I had with Peach versus Zelda, why did you mention things like Mario's Ultra Hammer and not have him use it in the fight? What the fuck did I tell you?
About bringing up items, bringing up power-ups, and bringing up weapons only for the character to never use them. What the hell did I tell you about that? You did the same fucking shit with Peach versus Zelda. Why? Why are you going to bring up these power-ups if both Mario or Sonic is never going to use them? Why? Stop doing this death battle. If they're not going to use it in the fight, don't even bother bringing it up. It's really fucking annoying when you do that. And just the end results was just so stupid. It was pointless. Okay, sure. Mario won, so the outcome was different, but what does it matter? It wouldn't have mattered who won. This was a lose-lose for you, Death Battle. It doesn't matter who wins. All you do is make yourself look stupid because you show that the original Death Battle was pointless and this Death Battle is pointless. That's all you proved. You proved nothing. Okay, the matchup was shit. Your script for the Death Battle itself was shit. Okay? And sure, while the animation was good, here's the problem. That is due to you just hiring a good animator to do this. It's very easy for Death Battle to write up a script for a shitty Death Battle and just throw it at some talented animator. That's not the good work of Death Battle. It's the work of an animator that clearly cared more than Death Battle, because I guarantee you whatever script they had for this Death Battle was probably like a page long. Because this fight was pitiful. It was underwhelming. It was not entertaining in the slightest. No tension, no entertainment, nothing. Nothing about this feels like a 100th episode. Why should we care? Why are you even bothering slapping your 100th episode label over this? Should we really be impressed if this is what you're going to give us after 100 episodes? What's next? If you get to 1,000 episodes, what? What are you going to do then? Are you just going to do something really stupid like this again? But this Death Battle was terrible. It really, really was. Okay, this Death Battle gets a fucking 2 out of 10. Okay, and it deserves it. This is a fucking horrible Death Battle. Poor matchup. Shitty scripting. Good animation, but bad Death Battle. Okay, no tension, nothing. Why are you trying to keep this Death Battle? Why are you trying to keep this rivalry alive? This rivalry of Mario and Sonic, it's been over. It's been over for a long time. Clearly, Mario is the superior one here. Okay, wasn't that obvious, when Sega lost the Bit Wars? I thought that was obvious that Mario was the better one here. Why try to keep the rivalry alive? I don't know if you know this, Death Battle. This rivalry has been dead for a long time. Okay? It's been dead before you, even back when you did Mario vs. Sonic, the rivalry was dead. Okay? So, there's no point to doing this. Okay, Mario has won this rivalry. He is clearly the superior character. Why? Why do this? It's just a waste of time for everyone. And don't tell me that, oh, well, it was highly suggested, it was a popular thing. I don't want to fucking hear that excuse. I hear that excuse all the time. Enough with that appeal to popularity fallacy bullshit. It means nothing. Yeah, stupid people suggest dumb death battles all the time. Who cares? It doesn't change the fact that this matchup is still terrible. And it is. Just because a bunch of idiots out there suggest a really dumb death battle doesn't make it good. What Death Battle needs to do is they need to seriously hire somebody to look through their death battles and separate which requests are good and which requests are bad. They desperately need that. They need to stop doing every request that gets thrown at them because they get more shit requests than actual good requests, and we end up with bad death battles. So it just ends up being a waste of Death Battle's time. It ends up being a waste of our time because it's fucking stupid. Only the people who suggest the death battle are going to enjoy it. Why is that every time I praise you, Death Battle, whenever you do a perfect death battle like Nightwing versus Daredevil, you turn around and you do 2 or 3 retarded one-sided death battles that make no sense? Why? Why do you keep doing this, Death Battle? Why? Why can't I just praise you for doing something good without you having to do something completely retarded? Because I really wanted to do a Daredevil versus Nightwing review, but I was so apathetic towards Mario versus Sonic, I just didn't give a shit. Now, I still might do it. However, the fact that this death battle was so terrible, it made me not give a shit about reviewing an otherwise fantastic death battle is bullshit. So this fight was terrible. Not good, waste of time, don't even bother with it. And as for the next death battle, Ultron versus Sigma, while I'll probably do some kind of prediction video or something and I'll give my thoughts on that, for now I'll sum that death battle up with one word. Why? Red versus Sonic.exe Fan War. Now, I'll leave a link for this YouTube channel in the description for you, but let's discuss this. What were my thoughts on this? And I'll be honest, for what this was, and if this is assuming that this was all done by just one guy, then this is actually really, really good. Like, I definitely do have some problems with that, and I'll go over them, but for the most part, this is actually really well done for what it is. Now, obviously, it being a smaller channel, a smaller production, they obviously don't have the same, obviously the guy doesn't have the same level of resources as Screw Attack. However, despite that, this was pretty well made, and I'm actually really impressed considering the circumstances. Now, at first I wasn't quite too sure about the matchup itself, Sonic.exe versus Red, but then when I think about it, it makes perfect sense, and this death battle really wasn't that bad. This isn't a half-bad matchup. I could definitely see why people would want to see it, as it's a battle of 2 demonic entities that end up possessing video games to torture the protagonists of their stories. That's fine, and in terms of a creepypasta death battle, this could have been a lot worse. I mean, it could have been what that motherfucker over at Animation Rewind did, where he kept doing these creepypasta versus MLG death battles, and they were the worst fucking cancer shit I've ever seen in my goddamn life. However, this changed my mind, so credit to you. You actually changed my mind on creepypasta death battles, because before, I never ever wanted to see a creepypasta death battle ever again after the shit that Cartoon Fight Club pulled. But you helped bring everything back, so if you ever did another creepypasta death battle, or death battle, ever got around to doing one, I'm actually up for watching it. Just for the love of God, don't ever watch any fucking death battle from Cartoon Fight Club involving the creepypasta characters. Just don't fucking do it. Now, with that being said, I'll get over the couple negatives I have with this out of the way, since they're not very many. My first negative I had with this was the audio. The audio was definitely the biggest problem for me. And the little bits of music that there are, they're not really highlighted. They don't really set the tone at all, because for a creepypasta and horror Halloween themed episode, which I'm going to assume is what the original creator was going for, you have to be able to set the tone and atmosphere. It's very important for horror and a Halloween themed video to have some atmosphere, and you don't get very much atmosphere because there's not any music that helps get you in that horror Halloween-y kind of feel, and that was definitely kind of a problem I had. And another really big problem I had with the audio was during the actual death battle itself. There is next to no music, and whatever music there is so mono, it might as well not even exist, and it makes the whole fight feel very, very awkward. So much so that I actually took the liberty of taking the video and fixing the audio myself, adding music to help fit the tone, and adding a song to the death battle to improve on it and help bring it back to the full experience that I assume the original creator was going for. And I'll leave a link for that video too if you want to check it out. So the audio was definitely a huge problem for me. So in the future, Fan War, please make sure you get your audio correct. And the second negative I had is towards the end. I won't give away who won, but one problem I did have is the way he set up that this is going to take place in a certain character's video game. And he ends up explaining that had the other character that lost been in his video game, that character would have won. And I have a huge problem with that, because basically it says that if the other character was in their video game, then that character would have won. So it just comes down to a battle of environment and home field advantage. And I have a huge problem with that, because that can lead to all kinds of people saying, well, the character didn't actually win. Your results are meaningless because all it matters is that the character is in his video game, and you have to be able to remove that kind of home field advantage kind of deal. These two characters should fight in an environment where they are restricted by no such things. For example, if a character has a weakness that if he spends too much time outside of his video game, then he will perish, that should be a factor of the death battle. If that is a weakness that the character has, it should be incorporated. So these two characters should not have fought in either of their video games. They should have fought in a different kind of environment, so that way that is kind of taken away, so you don't have that whole, well, it just comes down to home field advantage and the rest of the results are meaningless, as fans will be quick to point that kind of stuff out. So in the future, please keep this in mind. Now, I do understand why the creator did what he did. It still just doesn't work, and it leads to just too much wishy-washy kind of thing. It's better to just take that out of the equation. But with that out of the way, those were the only two negatives I had. Now, this creator does a really good job capturing that kind of death battle feel. He does do a good job researching and telling the history of the characters, explaining their powers very well. So the analysis was good, and the fight itself was actually pretty good. Now, while the animation is mostly just in a 2D style with some attempts at 3D, and for the most part it works fine. I think the creator did the best under the circumstances he was in, and I was definitely impressed. Like, at first I wasn't quite too sure what to think. I was kind of dreading to see what his death battle would look like, and it actually looked really, really good for the most part, and I liked how it was done. I liked the use of violence. I liked how each characters were represented using their powers and their abilities. It was pretty well done. Aside from some audio issues, it was really good. I rather enjoyed myself with the fight, and I liked some of the... one thing I will say, while I did have problems with the audio, I did enjoy the use of dialogue between Sonic.exe and the noises with Red. I did really enjoy that, as it is explained in the original story that Red can't actually talk. He's limited to the restrictions of his video game, so he can only talk through text boxes. So I really like how he found a way for these characters to have a dialogue back and forth during the fight without having to use subtitles for Red, as that would have made the fight feel kind of silly. So I did enjoy that. I loved the use of dialogue between the characters. And for the most part, the sound effects were pretty well done. Analysis was also pretty good. Aside from that one problem I mentioned, the analysis was fine. So, with that being said, I highly recommend checking this guy out. If you're getting sick of Death Battle's bullshit like I am, give this guy some love and support. Maybe we can help him reach that level, and he can one day become a competitor for Death Battle, and I think that would be very good for him. So definitely check this out. I would give this Death Battle a 8 out of 10. Really, really great stuff. Outside of a couple of issues with the audio and that one issue I had with the results, this was really, really well done. I highly recommend it. Please check this guy out. He has my highest recommendation.